Okay.
And we are officially live. So, welcome to episode, I don't know, I think we're at 4 or 5 right now, everybody.
Yeah.
Tonight, I am being joined by Elise and Judy, and we'll get to them in just a moment. We're talking about lead generating when you have kids in tow. Doesn't matter the age of your kids or anything else, but how do you effectively lead generate in real estate or whatever business you are in while you have kids? Because we all know that sometimes that can become a bit challenging. So, Judy, why don't we start with you? Tell us where you're from, how long you've been in business, who you're with.
Sure. My name's Judy Weber, and I'm with Berkshire Hathaway. I've been a licensed agent here in Pennsylvania, a suburb of Philadelphia. I'm living in Eagleville, Pennsylvania, and I've been licensed in Pennsylvania since 2008.
Okay,
So, what is that, 9 years?
awesome. And Elise, what about you?
I am from Ohio. I'm with Russel Real Estate Services, and I have been licensed since May 30th.
Awesome. And so you just said you've had, when we were speaking privately, you've had 3 transactions so far. Is that correct?
Correct. And I'm writing 2 offers tonight.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's really fantastic. Good for you. And how old are your kiddos?
Oh, mine is 4. But I
Okay.
have 5, 4 nieces and nephews and 1 nephew. And they range the same age as my kids and my sister. We live in like a house that's divided into apartments, so she's right across the hall. So I end up taking on a lot
Oh,
of
that's
children.
awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Judy, what about you? How old are your kids?
I have actually 6 kids, 3 of my own and 3 steps, but they're much older. My kids, all boys, all 6 of them. Mine are 21, 18, and 15, no, 16. And then my husband's 3 are 29, 22, and 19, I think.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's
So
quite a spread there.
I only really have one that's home with me, and that's my 16-year-old who doesn't have his license yet, but
Okay.
yeah.
And how long have you been in the business, Judy?
9 years. Yep.
Okay. So the kids were much younger when, you know, when you first started.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me, and Judy unfortunately is having some technical issues, cannot join us via video, so you guys get to look at me and Elise tonight. So welcome.
Sorry.
Not sorry. But Judy, tell me, growing up with having your kids grow up in this industry, let's talk about that. What did that mean for you? What did your business look like? What did you do differently then than you do now?
Just a lot of juggling. Still there's juggling, but then there was extra juggling because now I can leave my 16-year-old home alone. Back in the day when I had 3 little ones on my own, that didn't happen. So sometimes they went with me, to be honest, on some appointments and whatnot, and they'd be sitting in the office when we're writing contracts. If we're showing homes, I really tried to find, a friend or someone who could watch them in the neighborhood or something. But people were very, very understanding when, 1 or more of my kids would show up, in the office, for example, in particular. So, you got to do what you got to do, and bills have to be paid. So one thing that I do want to mention is that my boys are really good in knowing that entrepreneurial way of doing things, which I think is gonna fare them well no matter what they do in life. So I think that was a very good thing for them to see and be a part of.
Awesome. Elise, what about you?
I bring my child almost on every visit. I have a lot of buyers now, and they are very understanding. As a single mother, a single working mother, they have to come with me, or he has to come with me most of the time. And buyers are most of my clients are really understanding. They know their parents as well, so it's not really much of an issue. The only time I find a sitter is if, my sister offers, or if I'm going on a listing appointment, I find a sitter for him. But I have a wonderful support system. and a lot of sitters on deck just in case, just in case. So, but a lot of people are understanding that, you know, as a single mother, you got to do what you got to do. So,
absolutely. Well, I mean, I think it presents a different set of challenges, and the great thing about this business is that it can be as flexible as we want, and then we can also choose to work with those that we want to work with, and those who get it, and those who don't, and that's okay. It's unique that way.
Yeah, my child's welcome in the office, so that's my business or company, Russel, is really family oriented. So there's a array of children in the office at any given time, and they can sit on the computers and watch their movies, and they're happy.
Yeah. Yeah. My director of operations has 2 little boys, and they're super cute. And anytime Kayla and Liam, they're just adorable. I love them. And anytime that they have a tummy ache or a day off of school or something, they have to come to our office. You know, I try to hook them up with Netflix or something like that. And so I think that they think it's pretty cool, but it's a fun thing. I remember one of my favorite like memories was it was take your daughter to work day. And my daughter, who is now 17, was probably 7 or 8 years old at the time, and we left my office for the day, and she says, well, so Mom, your job's pretty easy, huh? And I'm like, well, what makes you say that? And she's like, well, all you have to do every day is sell a house or two. I'm like, you're right. It is pretty easy.
That's all, Mom. That's it.
Yeah, that's all that you need. That's all that you need. So, hey, Betsy, I just saw that you turned in Betsy Sarcone from Iowa, one of my favorite Asians ever. You've just got such a great spirit. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you very much. But talk to me, give me some creative ways that you ladies have been able to lead generate with kids in this industry. And Stephanie Walls, I'm just going to pause for 1 second. I was hoping to catch you earlier today, Stephanie Walls. I know you just tuned in. If you are available, I would love to have you, because my girl Stephanie has 3 little girls, and her husband owns a construction company, and they've got crazy schedules. Stephanie, if you're available to tune in, send me a private message. I want to get you on here if you have free time. So, but Elise, I'm going to throw it to you. What have you done so far? And then Judy will turn it over to you as well.
I think my child goes with me, and he thinks he likes handing out business cards. So I let him hand out business cards, and he'll say, call my mom if you want to buy a house or if you want to sell a house. I think we did that one time. We were having a garage sale and did that. Right. That's probably the best way, is that they have something. And my child is very social for 4. And he's a social butterfly. So him talking to people is wonderful for me. And then he kind of starts the conversation, and that's the biggest thing that we've done is hand out cards. And then on appointments and stuff, we're always handing out cards at the grocery store or wherever we go.
Nice. Awesome. Perfect. What about you, Judy?
Well, when you're talking about the kids' involvement, I think of my launch party that I threw within the first couple of months when I started back in, I guess it would have been the spring of 2009 that I had my little shindig. And I called it the Diamond and Chocolate Gala, because I called it myself at that time, I called myself the Diamond Realtor, and that was an acronym for all of the things that I stood for. And I kind of changed my whole thing. But in any event, it was really kind of cool. I had a jeweler there. I had a chocolatier there. And I had kind of like a, what do you call that? Casino kind of thing, where one of my kids was there to man the roulette wheel. And the others were wanting to be a part of that. So I just remember that was so neat. I always try to involve them in my marketing, and hey, let me show you what mommy's trying to do to bring in business and get new clients. So it's always fun to share that. But yeah, that party was amazing.
That's awesome. I love that idea. So what was the acronym, the Diamond acronym? What did that
I
stand
know.
for?
I'm trying to remember what it was. Dedication. I will never remember what it was.
It was a good
Integrity.
idea at the time.
Yeah, we're going back some years because then I switched brokerages and then I decided, just to go with my current mantra, which is always what it was. It's really about impeccable service. So that's the mantra now.
Awesome.
But that's all
Fantastic.
encapsulated in what I'm doing. So yeah.
I love it. I love it. I remember when my daughter was, I want to say in first or second grade, one of the teachers told me about this after the fact. Not my daughter's teacher, another teacher at the school was trying to sell her house, and my daughter overheard one of the teachers complaining that their house was not selling, and was frustrated or whatever the case may be. And my daughter puts her hands on her hips, looks at her teacher, and says, "That's because you didn't list your house with my mom. And if you would, it would be sold by now. What do you call her?"
I love it.
I love it. Like, girls can become like the greatest promoters without even realizing it. I think it's a kind of a really, really cool thing. But
wait, can I just say something? Can I say something, Nicole, on that? Because that's really awesome. And that's one thing that I'm really big on. The only limits are the ones we set in our brains. And so there it is, your daughter who thinks the world of you. And my mom is super mom, super salesperson. She can do anything. So there she is, like instinctively just like, hey, this is why didn't you ask my mom to do this? It would be a done deal already. So I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is, I mean, I love it. It's like your own little personal billboard, and like, how they say, out of the mouths of babes. They have no filter. They're just like, do it. Like, what? Are you stupid? Why did you not do this to begin with? It's fantastic. I love that. So let's talk about, were either of you are either of you engaged in any mom groups? Have you created any pages on social media or anything like that you are networking in to help gain leads in business and relationships while you have your kids? Because our business, as we know, is all about those relationships that you have. It may or may not be about who's ready to buy or sell at the moment. But what are you doing to network your sphere, especially when you have the sphere with kids, to help generate more business?
Elise, do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
You can go first.
Okay. See, I feel like because my baby is 16, I'm a little bit more distant from that. But at the time when they were younger, I, was very involved in Bible study. And of course, the little ones were loving to participate in soccer and different sports. So I was just very actively there at practice and talking to people. And back then, I wasn't as bold as I am now. Back then, I almost had that mentality of, oh my goodness, I don't want to, quote, bother them by telling them I'm a realtor. Now I know better, right? Because I'm providing value. I want them to know, hey, if you want an awesome realtor, you're going to want me. And that's not to say that I'm arrogant or anything, but I know what I'm doing and all that kind of stuff. But so back then, but I was always wanting to just connect with people and really get to know them. I'm a big proponent of tell me about you. And then after you tell me about you, then maybe I'll tell you about me, So.
Right. Absolutely. Elise, what about you?
Yeah, I think it's the same. Mostly my Facebook is probably the biggest thing. Hold on, my mind just walked in.
That's all right.
So I connect a lot with single mothers and mothers in general, just because a lot of my clients. There he is. You're on a video.
Mommy.
Hi there, sweetheart.
I broke my leg when I fall off the car.
Okay. You got it. He broke his leg. That's what he's saying.
Aww.
Okay.
Can we see him?
Yeah, come on.
Hi, what's your name?
Here, let me turn my headphones.
Let me take my jacket off.
Okay. This is
Hi,
my little one.
Oh, you look like mommy. Oh, you're so sweet.
Say hi, Miss Nicole, and hi, Miss Judy.
Hi there.
Hi.
Gigi.
No, I'm still on the video.
That's all right. All right.
I like
JJ, what do you think?
my
Hi, honey.
Okay.
Can you tell me what do you think about tell us what does your mom do for work? Do you know?
glasses.
She sells houses. What do you think about that?
Now you're shy. Now you're
You
shy.
like to, you like to help your mom sell houses?
You like handing out business cards?
Tell me about who do you hand out business cards to?
Do I go to
Because
bed or
I don't know. Why are you asking me, lady?
You have to say hi to all the people on Facebook because they're on our
What?
page.
Wait, Mom, I need to show my mom something.
Okay,
Okay.
bye, baby.
Bye, bye,
Say sorry.
Mommy, guess what?
Judy, did you
Save of the zombie.
Judy, how old were your kids in when you started in this business? I know you have a small gaggle of them, but how old were your kids when you first
Okay,
started?
so 9 years ago, I'm trying to do math in my head. 13, 11, and 9.
Okay, got it.
So
Those
they
are
were a little bit older than Elise's son, but yeah, and they were excited when mommy, I was a lawyer. I am a lawyer, although I don't practice right now. And then I stayed home for a number of years when the boys were like babies, little. And then, I just wanted to not only make money, it wasn't about that. It's just that I don't like to sit still. I like to get moving and do things. So, they love to be a part of that. So I think that's incredible. And I applaud you, Elise, for all that you're juggling, because I know it's not easy.
Yeah.
hard.
Thank you.
My kids are now 12 and 17. I've been in this business for 10 and a half years now in real estate, and I was in mortgage prior too. But one of the things that I used to do very frequently when I first started was I used to host game nights. Largely because I'm a fairly social person, and I had recently moved into a new neighborhood and was working on just trying to grow my network in my mom's sphere and all the rest of it. But my ex-husband and I used to host these game nights about once every 2-3 weeks at our house, and we had the playroom in the basement, and by playroom I mean an unfinished part of our basement that had the toys. It was not a nice playroom by any means.
Mm-hmm.
We would have game night where we'd have a few different board games or card games. I would tell everyone, bring your drinks and a dish to pass, so it didn't cost me a dime to do. And we invited the whole neighborhood, whoever, and there were times that we'd have 40, 50, 60 people over at our house.
Wow.
The kids are playing out on the play set in the back, or the park's just down the block, and just having a great time socializing and networking. And we used to have this bet, like, who's going to be the first to bring up real estate, because the focus on it was not real estate at all. It was really just trying to make friends and enjoy a new neighborhood. But it came up every single time, and every single time we would have a game night, I'd gain a client or 2 or 3 every single time. And we did this continually for quite a long period of time, and it was such a great way for me to start my business without having to shell out money, and just really coming from a, like, let's just be friends type of place. And it's very simple. I'm curious if either of you have done anything similar or the like, or know of anything similar to that when it comes to the kids.
Well, I mean, we had bunco that we alternated in my neighborhood. So I had people over every once a quarter, maybe, or so. So yeah, I mean, I'm with you though. I always tried to inject the fact that I was a realtor, but really, it's about authentic connection. So I really wanted to get to know people, and because I figured do that kind of thing, and the rest will follow.
Right.
So yeah, I think that's an awesome idea. I can't imagine having 40 or 60 people. I couldn't even fit them in my house.
Well, it got tight at times. It certainly did. But the cool thing was, like, the kids would all be in one area, the parents would be in another. We're having a great time, and it ended up not being about the games. It was about socializing and having fun. And when we told everyone, bring your dish to pass and your drink, it cost me literally nothing to do it. And it ended up being, I have a lot of friendships. My kids have a lot of friends as a result, and did a lot of business as well. So it was a win-win-win all the way around. Elise, what about you? I mean, your child is much younger right now than what ours are, although my son was 2 years old when I started in this business. Are you involved in any mommy groups or other play dates type things that might help you to network a little bit more with other parents who might be in the market?
Well, I'm involved in a lot of Facebook groups. I do a lot of online presence. He's also in soccer, and he goes to like a full-time school. It's set up like kindergarten, but it's preschool. So my goal is to be more active in my community. I had recently just purchased this building that's been vacant for 40 years. So a lot of people have approached me that way because I live in a village. So Wellington's a tiny village. It's a wonderful historic town. And so a lot of people have approached me that way. And the same thing, I think, the importance of cultivating relationships that grow into your business that will be almost like a revolving door, because you start with that relationship and you're not looking, oh yeah, hey, of course I want to buy and sell you a house, but I'd rather have the friendship and have that last, and then be more impactful on my community because I love it here.
Well, okay, so let's talk about community impact. Are you ladies doing anything for community activism, volunteerism, fundraising, and other kind of networking social groups within your community that might help when it comes to lead generating for your business right now?
Well, I would just like to say, go ahead, Elise.
No, you go first.
Okay. Actively, sorry about that. Actively right now, I'm most active in my church. And so, that's near and dear to my heart, and everybody that knows me knows that. But I just remember back in the day, we're talking about the boys when they were younger, back in that Diamonds and Chocolate Gala, the big launch party that I had, I was I had a heart for women and children. And so, I'm a member of MAD, the Mothers Against Drunk Driving. I was hit by a drunk driver. I beat the odds. I survived. He did not. So I'm into that. I'm very into, the breast cancer. My mother died of breast cancer, so I'm very into that cause. I'm also into Montgomery County, where I live. I forget exactly what it's called. I always forget the acronym, but it's an advocate for children who are in tough situations. So those are the kinds of things, those that benefit women and children. So it's interesting, the topic of tonight's, call, because that's exactly where my heart is. I hope that answers your question. So I like to donate 10% of everything I make to causes like that.
I think that's fantastic. I think that, so what I found, I would love to hear your 2 cents worth on this. And if anyone wants to comment, I would love to hear the 2 cents worth on this, because I struggle with, my team and I, we donate a lot of money annually to several different organizations, whether it be Habitat for Humanity, Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, Madison Christian Giving Fund, American Family Children's Hospital, which is a large children's hospital here in Madison, and several other things. I was just in Puerto Rico last week on a voluntary mission trip where I personally spent $1,500 on supplies to take down just for relief efforts, and I'm working on trying to raise $25,000 right now to take down for relief efforts. So we do a lot of that stuff all the time, and I don't typically publicize it. And I really struggled with this, and I think this is probably actually another really great topic to discuss. And the reason I haven't publicized it as much as others have is because I give because I want to, right? Like, because it's something that's important to me, something that I care about, something that I feel is worthwhile. And I struggle with I feel like there are also a lot of people who give that are self-serving by showing that they give. And that said, I feel like it's also a vicious conundrum, because I've also, for the things that I have shared, like right now I'm working on this big effort to raise $25,000 for Puerto Rico. My kids and I feed the homeless once every couple months, and like we buy the food, we cook the food, we serve that, we do the whole 9 yards. Every time that I post something like that, I also get commentary that says, we're glad that you showed because we also want to help and we don't know how. So how can we help you help others?
Mm-hmm.
And which is really fantastic because I do feel like there are a lot of people out there that want to do it and maybe their lives are a little too busy to handle it right now. But if they have an easy way to draw attention, then or an easy way to contribute, like I had posted something, we were feeding the homeless veterans at the top of State Street, which is a very popular area of Madison. And I posted, like, I need donations for this, this, and this. I had my office full of supplies and donations for about a week and a half, even after. So the next few times that I went to do it, I still had supplies. So I'm curious if are you guys doing other volunteer activities and how are you enjoying that? Because I found that people do pay attention to that, and the motivation behind that by no means is more business. And you get what you give, right? When people see that you give and you care, they end up, what goes around comes around, right? If you're a selfish asshole, no one's ever going to do business with you. But if you truly give and come from a place of contribution, it comes back. So I'd love to know what you guys are doing. I'd love to hear more about that, Judy.
Yeah, I mean, I guess for me, I'll be very honest, I'm not as out with that because, well, I guess I'm kind of stupid in that, I'll be honest with you, because maybe that's something that I should put out there. But those that know me well would already know that. And there are things I do on my personal page that I don't do on my business page. So the personal page may know what the business page may not on Facebook. Right. So, but as I'm sitting here listening to you, I'm thinking, well, darn well, your client should know that. And so I'm really kind of smacking myself around in my head to say, you know what, that is really a good point that you're raising, that your heart. Nobody else really knows your heart. And let's face it, when all these tornadoes hit and all these storms and people are out there and it's funny, Wawa, which is like a 7-Eleven around here, and Target and all these other stores, would you like to donate? It's like, I wonder what their heart is, but they're out there acting like they're doing it for the right reason. So I see no reason why we shouldn't make our clients, not only friends, but clients, aware of what we're doing to better the community and the world, really, right? So, so thank you for bringing that up.
So I'm just going to reiterate that. To better the community and the world. And let's be real, as women, especially as moms, we make the world go round. End of story. There's no question or debate about that. And so if we can make it a better place, that whole, it takes a village, it takes a whole lot of different types of villages to raise a world, right? And so if we can help other people, we absolutely should. And the great thing about REALTOR, here's what I will tell you that I loved, absolutely freaking loved about the disasters and the hurricanes in Texas and Florida and Puerto Rico. And in California with the wildfires. If you look at where some of and I'm like, I talk with my hands, especially when I get really passionate, and right now, like, this is such a big thing that I think in the real estate community, we do not pay enough attention to. It's that if you look at some of the biggest donors, the biggest contributors to relief, to aid, to help, to support in the communities that were devastated, where did it come from? It came from realtors. It all came from realtors. I mean, like, Keller Williams did a great job of taking their entire convention and throwing it into relief efforts and like physical on the ground manpower, which was phenomenal, right? And EXP we had a adopt an agent program where every agent that was in those areas automatically got a direct deposit of additional money into their account. We had a reverse referral situation going on where the agent referring business out actually got the vast majority of that referral fee. Agents were adopted saying, like, okay, if you are in this area, you need help, what is it that you need? We're just going to make it happen. I know RE/MAX had a huge event too, or a huge donation as well and lots of efforts. Every major player out there in our real estate community, and let's be real, we have a very small community, did a great job of helping and supporting and contributing. And the reason being, and I think a lot of people don't realize this, as real estate agents, we know how important not only our communities are, but how important the sense of normalcy in our communities are. And when you lose that because of a disaster or something else, we do everything we can to help. And I don't always get the recognition for it, and that's okay, because it's not about the recognition. But as a realtor, I was super, super proud to say that I'm in this industry that has contributed so much, truly from the heart, by helping others in need. I just think it's such a big thing, and I get a little passionate and overzealous about it, and you know what, that's okay. That's just who I am. I'm really, I do a lot of mission work, and I just, that's a big thing for me. But
Awesome.
what have you guys seen in your communities in terms of like things that might need to happen that people are doing or stepping up on, and what are you doing to help contribute?
Do you want me to go?
Go for it.
So one of our big things now in Wellington is Paint the Town Proud. So the local hardware store donated paint, and there was like a paint day. And you know, a lot of the community members came out. I came out for a couple hours to help. And I just made it known that since I'm newer in the business, I am trying to establish myself as an agent, as a mother, as a member of the community. I was really involved. I've been here, you know, my whole life, Wellington area, Lorain County area. And I was highly involved in, you know, sports and stuff. And then I, you know, went away, came back. And so now I just want my company is wonderful, and they strive for that family, community, hardcore values. And I guess that's what I'm trying to do as a newer agent, is figure out, you know, what avenues that I can contribute to. And I mentioned to a lot of people, and I'll mention it again since I'm live and it's on my page, that I can sponsor activities, and I can sponsor people, and I can sponsor like events, lunches, stuff like that. And I can do that. And I don't think people realize that. So I mentioned it, you know, I mentioned it to one of like the Main Streets. We have a lot of like Main Street organizations and throughout Lorain County. So I just made a call and said that I can help in any way, you know, within reason, of course, but within, you know, the parameters of what rules and guidelines and stuff, but that I can sponsor people. And I always, like, when I go to each community, I try and use like local businesses, because I feel like the local businesses, we have a lot of mom and pop shops, a lot of small business owners here, and using, you know, resources here kind of builds community, it builds structure within the community, and it keeps the business in the community, which is always a good thing. So when I go from, you know, village, I say village to village, like I'm a voyager. When I go from different places, I try to use, you know, resources within that source, just like I would want, you know, my referral business to come from people in the community, word of mouth. So
yeah, absolutely. What about you?
I'm sorry. Say that again. I'm sorry. I'm having some audio issues too.
Oh, no worries. I said, what about you?
As far as what I'm doing in the community?
Correct.
Yeah. I need to do more. Let's say that.
And that's fair.
Yeah, I am all about, you know, I pour into my kids, and this world is so screwy-looey that I'm really proud of the boys, the men that my boys are becoming. And that's really important to me. And, you know, but I take it more on a personal, like one-on-one that I meet, than really, I don't get to the soup kitchens. I don't get where I really would love to go, things like that. Gosh, I mean, I was my first marriage. I suffered domestic violence, and so I have a real heart for that. But I haven't really gone out to help in that way. But I'm committed to family. I'm committed to my church. I'm committed to the people with whom I come in contact. My kids always laugh. They say, "Mom, you know, you have like a Wawa ministry. Wawa is like our 7-Eleven here. I don't know if you guys have Wawa there, maybe not." They're in various parts of the country, maybe not at your neck of the woods, but I love going in when I go in the morning, get my coffee and talk to people and listen to what they have to say and try to give them words of encouragement and, you know, and a smile. And sometimes that is so huge. It's amazing what people, you don't realize how great you have it, and how much a good word and a smile can really go a long way. So.
Well, I think you're absolutely right about that. Like good word and smile goes a really long way and really helps. And sometimes people just want to feel, especially when you have relo people, they want to feel welcome and warmed and everything else. And so to be that front person, to be the face, to be the connector, to be the welcomer is a really great thing. And let's be real, people do business with those people that they know, they like, they trust. And so if they don't know you, like you, trust you, they're not going to do business with you. And so that's kind of part of how you get yourself out there. You know, I think, Elise, you had said something earlier that I wanted to touch on, and it's about you know, a little bit more about when you have those little ones with networking groups. And so one of the things that I did that I found really powerful in helping to connect with more people, my kids were, I want to say 2 and 8. I'm sorry, no, 2 and 6. 2 and 7, 2 and 6 when I first got my license. So they were really little at the time. And I knew I didn't have a lot of time. And what I mean by that is, like, I got my real estate license, market was crashing, everyone's telling me I was crazy, this is 2007, and I'm stupid for doing this. I'm like, no, I'm going to make it, and I'm going to make it hard, I'm going to make it fast. And so I read a book, 2 books that really kind of changed my life. One was Endless Referrals by Bob Burg, B-U-R-G. The other was The Millionaire Real Estate Agent by Gary Keller. And I kind of threw the 2 together in a way, and I'll do a separate webinar on this at some other point about exactly what I did and how I did it. But I realized I needed to go make myself the most well-connected person I knew in a very short order. So I found literally every networking event in my town. I'm in Madison, Wisconsin. So I found every networking event that I could, and I made a point to be there. And I also made it a point to not talk to anyone I knew until I met 20 to 30 people that I didn't already know every single time. And of those 20 to 30 people that I would meet every single time, and I'm talking 4, 5, 6 days a week, I'm at a networking event, 4, 5, 6 times a week, rather, because sometimes they're multiple in one day. I would follow up individually with each of them over and over and over and over and over again. And that's really what propelled my business, being the Rookie of the Year my first year into creating one of the largest teams in my area within 2.5, 3 years of joining starting this business. And we can do I can talk for 4 hours on networking and building relationships and how I did that in very short order. And sometimes I had to do, especially those people that were parents, I also added them to my game night. And for those who weren't parents or regardless, Elise, I think you said something about lunches. I ended up doing like weekly and bi-weekly lunches where basically I just organized it. And I'm, at this point in my career, I'm broke. I haven't made any money yet, right? I'm just working on growing my networking and being connected. And so I would organize a lunch and I would invite like 30 people I met from networking stuff. And I'm a big proponent of promoting women. So oftentimes it was a women's luncheon or a women's networking luncheon, but sometimes I included the men as well. And I was like, okay, I'm hosting a luncheon at Olive Garden or Red Lobster or wherever the case is. It's going to be Wednesday at noon. Please invite everyone that you know who is a great networker. And here's the Eventbrite, the what's the other one? Some sort of online registration, so I knew that they were coming. It didn't cost anything, and so I would know how many people to have. So I'd have these lunches 2-3 times a week, different groups at these luncheons, and I'd have 20, 30, 40, 50 people at these luncheons. Bring your own wallet, everyone's paying on their own, bring business cards to share, and let's network. And it really helped me to be able to grow my sphere as well. And that's something that can be done very efficiently and cost effectively, especially when you take the people that you know that you've met and you're asking them to invite the most well-connected networkers that they know. That was a great one, and one of my favorites aside from the game night, because I always had a ton of fun at the game night. The networking luncheon was certainly a bit more professional, but great way to help build your sphere and position yourself as the person of influence. I'm curious if you guys have any other thoughts on positioning yourself that way, or anything that you've done that you feel it would be worthwhile for someone else to know about or hear about.
Elise, you?
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I had spearheaded a networking group of women, and it was called Glass Floor. And I collaborated with a financial planner, actually my personal financial planner, and it ended up going south because there was a personality issue between the two of us. But I highly recommend that, just as you did, Nicole, that that women, that we think about leading and doing our own thing. When you're a part of a network group, that's fine, and you can make some real good relationships. But when you're the head of it, then everybody knows you, and so it's just a really good thing. And so my sister, who's also the co-founder of Girls Guide, Jan Copeland, she launched something. It's called Sterling Women of Winchester in Virginia, and she, it's amazing the business she generates from those monthly 2-hour meetings. And the format is you come, you network, and there's different vendors. I think there's like 6 or 7 tables out, a jeweler vendor, all kinds of different things. I don't even want to try to guess what they are. I've been to one or something, but it's just a wonderful venue for you to put yourself out there as a leader and get in front of your prospects. And it's all about, if they're not the clients, then they may be referral sources. So I think it's a beautiful thing to do, to get involved with.
Well, and let's be real, these direct sales ladies out there, Mary Kay, Avon, whatever, Sopata, whatever they're called right now. I mean, there's a bazillion of them.
Yeah.
Those women hustle. End of story. They're typically
I agree.
people, like, they know everyone, that's their job. They get it. And quite frankly, if you're one of those ladies and you've ever had a desire to be in real estate, I want to talk to you, because you have no idea the skills you have that 90% of people do not.
Right.
And I sold Mary Kay once upon a time when I was home with my kids, and I did very well. I just realized I could make a lot more money selling a house than I could selling a tube of lipstick. And great company, and I'm super grateful for what I learned there, like wonderful stuff. But all of them, they have really, really great purposes and really great education and training. A lot of people discount that, but that's a really big thing. It really, truly is. And if you've ever been involved in one of those companies, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you've never been involved, you're like, you are crazy. And I get it on both sides, but I'm telling you, these ladies, they are hustlers, and I have nothing but mad respect for them, especially those who are doing it at a high level. They really are. But you can learn so much, and so I think that there's something to what you just said, Judy, on when you are networking. If you've got a Cadillac director, Mary Kay lady, who's driving their pink Cadillac there's 100 different types of pink Cadillacs that they drive now, and Grand Prix and whatever, or you've got what is the other one with the white Mercedes? The Arbonne people that are doing this at a high level. They get the business. They get how it works. They get what it means to network, to build a business from nothing, when they only have themselves and their personal sphere to work on. And that's a really great thing. So I would say if you really want, especially if you're new to this business, if you really want to learn how to network, you need to talk to those ladies. They are sharp. If they're doing it well, they know their stuff. They really do.
Yep, for sure. Mm-hmm.
So I think, the idea of like a vendor open house like that is a really great idea. I've not done that. I've participated in it before back, a million years ago, but I've never hosted one myself. But I think that could be a really powerful thing, if nothing else, for the purposes of networking. And so, Elise, have you ever done anything like that?
No, I have not. But that was also on my list of things to try, to do like a vendor open house. That was on my list.
Yeah.
Once I got more established. But also another idea that I had was I have a lot of first-time home buyers, and so we're gonna hold a workshop. So I'm going to go to my mentors first so I can learn everything. And then I'm going to have a workshop on first-time home buyers and invite a couple lenders to just, because people ask, those are the questions that I get the most are, where do I start? What do I do? And
Right.
I think I appeal to like people, my age. They don't know where to start. They don't know what to do. So those are my first, but I also want to touch on the direct sales ladies, of course. I was one prior. They do. I was part of It Works.
Okay, I'm not familiar with that, but they do. What they do really well
Right.
is teaching you how. In Mary Kay, they call it warm chatter. Like you just chat with people that you don't know, or whatever. They're like, oh, you are so pretty. I want to make you a model. Whatever the case may be, they do a really good job at it. They're smart. I mean, you don't build a company like that out of nothing, right? They've got sharp people doing this, and not just Mary Kay. I speak to that just because I understand that, but Mary Kay, Pampered Chef, Leah Sophia. I don't even think Leah Sophia exists anymore. But whatever they are, they know their stuff. And let's be real, women are who make this happen. And when you look at the demographics, according to NAR and other national statistics about who, when it comes to a husband-wife household, who is making the decision that we're moving or we're not, it's overwhelmingly the women. So that's who you need to connect with when it comes to this business. Like you can connect with the guy, but let's be real, we all know that the guy has no say. He goes in the house, he sees this man cave in the basement. If you're in an area that has basements, he says good. He might have veto power, but the wife is the one that makes the decisions. Am I right or am I wrong?
You're absolutely
right. I know an agent in my office said he will show his house. He will show a house to the wife, or he'll take the wife out on a listing appointment, but he'll never take the husband without the wife.
Exactly. That's exactly how it works. And so let's be real, empowering women in this becomes multifaceted in so many different ways. And it's a really, really cool thing. But along with that, I think that if you just think a little bit larger than your own, then the challenge I've always had with people when trying to teach people how to effectively network is I've seen so many people go to like an event or a group and do you want to buy or sell real estate right now? Do you want to buy or sell real estate right now? That's not how it works. That is absolutely not how it works, and you're not going to gain any business that way. But we all know that the average person comes across 5 or 6 people over the course of the year who are in the market to buy or sell real estate. So, Elise, you're beautiful, love you, cute little boy. I don't care if you ever buy or sell a house for me. That doesn't matter. But those 5 or 6 people that you know over the course of the year, I want to be so much in your face, so well connected to you that you have zero choice but to think of me when those 5 or 6 people come along over the course of the year, that you refer them to, because that's where I'm going to make my money. That's where I become of more value, and that's how I can help you help your friends and everything. So that's the big thing. So if you're going to a networking event strictly for the purpose of finding your next buyer or seller, you're doing it wrong. If you're not building a relationship, you're doing it wrong.
Right.
And it doesn't matter. Like I had a friend of mine who actually I'm not going to call her out. She's watching right now. And if you know who you are, I love you dearly. You messaged me yesterday. She reloaded here a couple of years ago, and her agent where she lived connected her with somebody here. And so she messaged me, and she's like, I have to tell you, I just bought a house, and I feel really bad. And I love you dearly. This has nothing to do with you. It only has to do with the fact that the person that I've been working with this person since before I knew you, and I feel really really bad. I'm like, you don't need to feel bad. It's okay. Like it's totally fine. I love you no matter what. You buy a house with me, you sell a house to me, whatever. I know that you speak well of me, and that's all that I ask. That's okay. End of story. It doesn't mean I don't love you any less because you didn't do business with me or whatever the case is.
Right.
That's okay. That's going to happen in this business once you do enough business, and that's just fine. No hard feelings. It's all good.
Yeah, I do think that's why to me women are made to dominate in real estate, because this is a heart business. This is all about relationships and connecting. And so to your point, and I don't think we choose a home. Well, we choose a home that would be homey for our family, that would be comforting to our family. It's not like we do it to the detriment of the men in our lives. We do it because we're more selective. I'll never forget when I moved from Delaware to Pennsylvania back when my oldest one was 1 year old. My then husband and I walked into a house. We came out and I said, wow, what did you think of that? And he goes, yeah, you want to put in an offer? I said, no, it was crappy. There's no way I'd live there. It's just a whole different, their threshold is much lower. But anyway, but to me, the older I get, and I'll be 52 in a few short weeks, really, I mean, we as women hold so much of the keys to the kingdom. We may not even realize the power that we have. We just need to go with our innate abilities and instinctive gifts, and really connect, especially with women, but also with everyone, and just show our hearts. And we're going to wail at this,
Absolutely. Elise, do you have anything to add there?
No. I just said women to dominate. I know I have a different, the same situation as Judy prior. I think relationships are key, and that's a lot of people are like, oh, go after these leads, go after these leads. But sure, I'll say, hey, do you want to buy a house? But the people that call me back are the ones that I sat and talked to for 20 minutes, or the ones that keep me in mind are the ones that I sat and had a conversation, not necessarily all about real estate, but about them, how they're doing, how's their family. And those are really where, the relationships come in. And then in the back of the mind, I got a listing from a friend of mine. And so that's where that came in. It doesn't necessarily, and that was like a month after I knew she was going to list her house, and then it just popped up one day. I think we were on vacation. So that's really, to me, it's all about the relationships and being able to have many, friends and many referrals out of that. But it's not necessarily about, oh yeah, of course I want to sell you a house, but again, I'm not here to push it on you. I'm not here to be, a lot of people are pushy, and I'm not one of those. I would rather, have a long-lasting relationship that years and years down the road, when you want to buy a house in 5 more years, that you're thinking of me. So.
Well, and I think let's talk about that word pushy for a moment, because I think the general public, I am a firm believer, has a very inaccurate view of what real estate agents are typically like and how we typically work. And I always tell people, I have never once in my career, being a top agent in my market, sold a house. And what I mean by that is people either want the house or they do not. When you're buying a house, it's an emotional thing 98% of the time, unless you are a real estate investor and you're strictly looking at dollars and cents bottom line to your pocket. And that's a very minute portion of the population. So I say I have never once sold a house because buyers buy on emotion. If they walk into the house and they love it, fantastic. If they walk into the house and they hate it, nothing I do or say is going to get them to purchase that property, ever. Right. This is where they have their time, their livelihood, and where they spend every waking moment, their family, their memories, and everything else. So I'm like, I'm a facilitator, and I will show you what's available. And should you decide that this, I might help guide you in your decision-making process. But nothing I say or do is going to make you want to buy this house or not. If you don't want to, that's okay. And if you do want to, that's okay. And I will help you either way. And I will help you come to that decision. And I will help negotiate the best deal I possibly can for you should this be the house that you want to purchase. But nothing I ever do or say is going to make you want to buy this property. End of story. And I don't think that there's a single agent out there that would ever disagree with me on that as it is. I've just got a whole bunch of hearts on my live thing streaming here to my left when I said that. But that's the reality of what it is, and a lot of people, I think the general public doesn't necessarily understand that, and I'm very transparent when I am meeting with someone about what that means.
Right.
Well,
I wanted to say on that, and I just lost my train of thought. Darn it.
I'm sorry. Can I just interject? And if you remember,
please.
Okay. Well, when we're talking about this whole, how the all important thing is relationships, I think that the buzz out in the world is get on Facebook, get these ads, social media.
Right.
And we'd be fools not to see how we should be on Facebook, among others, and, consistently, be there and have posts of value. But there are some gurus out there that make it seem like all you have to do is do the right post and you'll get the leads and get business. But hang on a second. Leads aren't necessarily going to convert to transactions without the relationship and without the personal, touch and showing that you're competent, you know what you're doing. So I get so tired of people like, oh, I'm going to, get into this social media thing and all of a sudden I'm going to be rolling in it. Not necessarily. There's a lot of other things involved and we too know that,
Well,
so.
Actually, hold on, I'm going to grab this book here that I'm reading right now. First of all, do y'all watch Gary Vaynerchuk?
No, I do not. I've heard of him.
Oh my gosh, Gary V. I've totally got a girl-boy crush on him. In that, like, I'm not attracted to him, but when it comes to social media stuff, I'm about to write his stuff on a paper towel because that's what I have in front of me here. But if you go to YouTube and you search Ask Gary V, VEE, and I'm writing this down so I can just show it on the screen. This is my dinner paper towel, y'all. This is how it is. And apparently my video is a little bit lagged behind on what. You got it?
Yep.
Okay, Ask Gary V. Go to YouTube and just search his stuff. He is all about content marketing on Facebook. Phenomenal. I mean, he has several hundred, a bunch of stuff out there. But there's also a book I'm reading right now called Expert Secrets by Russel Brunson that was referred to me by my good friend Hank Avnick, who was a real estate coach who I admire and respect greatly. But he recommended that book to me. And that book for me right now is like crack. I am so addicted to it, and I just can't get enough of it. That's what I've been doing every moment of my waking day where I have free time is reading this book and underlining and scoring and highlighting and taking notes. So if you're gonna you can't just be on Facebook and expect to get business. You have to be intentional with it. And I just realized how much my hands are moving in front of the screen, so I apologize. I'm working on that. But you have to do it systematically. You have to do it intentionally. You have to have a target. There's a lot that goes into it. So I would tell you because you can waste a lot of money on Facebook ads. You can waste a lot of money on Google ads, and you should red light, green light your money. If you are not getting at least 300% return, in my personal opinion, from your online marketing, you need to stop doing your online marketing and find something else. You know, it used to be a 1-for-1, but that was back before the day of internet. That's back before the day of technology in its existence the way it is right now. And so if you're not generating that, you need to get out of it because you're doing something wrong, or you're not doing it effectively, or your conversion sucks. One of those three, end of story. So you need to get out of it and work on something that works well for you, or focus on that one thing and get your return before you invest in something else. That said, the most efficient way to generate business, or the least costly way to generate business, is always going to be networking and referral. We know that. And you should do that to the maximization that you possibly can. That said, you will always hit a lid with that, because you can only do so much with your natural sphere. You can only do so much with the people that you organically know before you hit a wall. Maximize what you can, and then add another, and then add another, and then add another. It should not be this, well, I'm going to spend money on Zillow, I'm going to spend money on Truly, I'm going to spend money on Google AdWords and Facebook ads and 15 other things to get a deal here, a deal there. When you focus your intention on one specific area or two specific areas, maximize that, become the owner of those one or two areas, then start to add another, and then start to add another. That's when you will become super successful in your little niche. Beyond that, stop wasting your money on stuff. That's my 2 cents worth. Judy, you've been around for a while. Elise, I know you're newer in this business, but Judy, do you want to have anything you want to add or comment to that?
No, I just really appreciated the opportunity to be a part of this. Thank you so much, Nicole, for asking me. And I apologize that my video, wasn't able to work, but thank you for this.
My pleasure. I'm super glad that you joined. I really appreciate your Facebook forum. Ladies, if you are watching and you are not a member, I want to add 2 little plugs here. Judy has a Facebook page, and I apologize, Girls Guide to Outrageous Real Estate Success. Is that correct?
Yes. All right. You got it.
Girls Guide to Outrageous Real Estate Success. It's a great page. Lots of good content and information. People there come from contribution. I actually also, that was a part of another forum that I got kicked out of earlier today. Apparently people, don't like it when you post asking for on a page that allegedly comes from a place of contribution. They apparently don't like it when you come from contribution. So I started my own group called Moms of Real Estate. So specifically for moms in real estate, it's on my public profile. If you'd like to join, would love to have you. I'll post a comment in the link section here shortly. Here's the deal with the group that I have is that I don't care what company you're with. Does not matter. I do not care if you're in this business full-time or part-time. This is strictly from a point of moms in this business helping moms. That is just it. The rules are as follows. Number 1, be nice. Number 2, do not bash somebody else's brokerage. Number 3, come from contribution. That's it. Those are my rules. Beyond that, I don't care what you want to do. There's plenty of room in the sandbox for us all to play. And so I'd love it if you would join the page and Judy's page as well. I have gotten so much out of there. They're just great people, great contribution. So please look them both up. I will post them both in the links on this video in a little bit. And thank you all for joining tonight. And if there's something that you would like to see, a topic you want us to discuss, please feel free to comment or private message me. I'll be sure to get it into our rotation. So thanks again. You all have a great night.
Thanks, Nicole.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.